पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीं नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। राजविद्या राजगुह्यम् पवित्रमिदमुत्तमम् प्रत्यक्षावगमं धर्म्यम् सुसुखं कर्तुमव्ययम् अश्रद्धधाना पुरुषाः धर्मस्यास्य परन्तप अप्राप्य मां निवर्तन्ते मृत्युसंसारवर्त्मनि मया ततमिदं सर्वं जगदव्यक्तमूर्तिना मत्स्थानि सर्वभूतानि न चाहं तेष्वस्थितः न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम् भूतभृन्न च भूतस्थः ममात्मा भूतभावनः। Now, the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, very heart of the Bhagavad Gita. The Gita has 18 chapters and we are studying the 9th chapter. You may ask why the 9th? Because I have systematically done the first to 8th chapter over here and therefore now we have the 9th chapter. 9 is a complete number. Those of you who know a little bit of numerology, your number is counted how? Your date of birth, and all the numbers that are there are added and it's divided by 9. Is it true or not? Don't look at me like that. No one knows this. Whatever is your date of birth, it's all added together and then it's divided by 9. And then whatever is the remainder, and that's your number. That's considered as your number. 9 twos are 18. 1 plus 9, 1 plus 8, 9. 9 threes, 27. 2 plus 7, 9. Again, you keep on multiplying 9 with numbers. And what will you add? All of it, what will you get? 9 again. That's why it's considered as a Purna sankhya, a complete figure. So we are into this 9th chapter. You know, another word for Mahabharata is Jaya. Are you aware? Mahabharata, the text is also called Jaya. Jaya means victory. And numerologically, every letter has a certain number attached to it. So, Ja plus Ya is equal to 9 again. So, victory is also what? Complete victory. Full and complete. So, here we are studying the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Now, Bhagavan started saying, I'm going to give you something which is really fantastic, which is divine, which is noble, which is royal, which is not at all difficult because it is you here within you, right here available. But still, at the same time, there are people, because of lack of faith, because of fault finding in what I am speaking, are unable to realize. And because they don't realize this truth, mrityu samsara vartmani, they are born again and again in the cycle. They have to repeat the cycle of birth and death. They never can get out of it because they don't have faith in what I speak. And what they hear also, then it's difficult for them to believe. Vedanta gives you a knowledge which is really amazing. This knowledge, this Brahma Vidya or self-knowledge, this is what is called the spiritual knowledge, the very heart and soul of Sanatana Dharma, which is also called Vedanta. The knowledge is so amazing that it breaks all barriers of even your imagination. Forget your experiences, even your imagination. What you and I consider ourselves to be is just this small little body. And right from childhood, you and I are nursing, establishing, re-establishing, affirming and abiding in the knowledge that I am this body. Is it true or not? So, what do you do all your life? Satisfy the needs of your body, beautify your body, and do everything to preserve it and keep it happy. Is it true or not? That's it. From the childhood. And this is a common knowledge of everyone on this world, in this world. Isn't it? Now, Vedanta tells you, you are not the body. One big blow to a universally accepted belief. Are you getting this? How amazing it is? Bolo. One, you are not this body. Now what are you? You are thinking, okay, I am not the body. Then you imagine that I am a mind which is inside the body. Or something, you know. Then they say you are not the mind. My God. But I am sad. No, sorry, you are not sad. The mind is sad. You are not sad. You're understanding? What an amazing thing. I am glad. No, you are not glad. Your mind is glad. You are not glad. Then who am I? This very, very fundamental question which no one even asks till they die. Not till they die. Even they never ask. Is it true or not? Don't you think this is the first question you and I should ask the day we come into this world? That time we can't think, but the minute we start thinking, don't you think this is a question we should ask? Bolo na? But by that time it is established, I am so and so, so and so. The first time the children also say, Tu kon che? Hu Raju chu, Raju. Isn't it true? Tu Raju che, Raju, 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 Raju. So anyway, some word Raju. Yes. Raju. And Vedanta goes and says, you are not the body, you are not the mind. You are not finite. You are infinite. Can you imagine this? That's why I said it's amazing. Okay, fine, I'm not the body. Okay, I'm some soul inside. You feel something, some soul is there, something fitted inside, which is called soul. Atma, God. And everyone, all of us say, there is God within. God is there. And we have some funny idea of what is that God, right or wrong? Don't we have some funny idea of what is God? If I tell you what exactly is God, Swamiji is inside me. Very good. Is he inside you? Yes, he's inside me. He's inside you? Yes. So then tell me what is the shape, size and the form of God? Come on. Then how is he inside you? You said he's inside you. He's inside him also. He's inside her also. He's inside all of us. So what is there? What is this God? Bhagavan says, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyakta murtina. I pervade this entire universe. I pervade means I am in all, everywhere. See, these are words that are spoken in every religion, but rarely do we really understand the import of, even when we speak it or we listen to it, we don't really understand what we mean by that. Do you agree with me? There's a God, he's everywhere. Everywhere means what? So we imagine he's like space, he's everywhere. Space is everywhere, so God is also everywhere. So is God space? Bolo na? No. Space is everywhere. God is everywhere. So therefore, what? God is in space? No, God is in space? God is in space? Asked you this question. Or space is in God? Swamiji, what is this early morning? Have you had a cup of tea? I always say, please have a cup of tea if you come for the lecture. God is in space or space is in God? So God is a container and space is contained, or space is the container and God is contained? Space is in God. So God is container and space is inside God. Yeah. So we have some idea what it means, this pervading and all that. So it says Bhagavan is everywhere. Right now your concept of everywhere is always a space concept. This word everywhere also denotes a space concept, isn't it? Here, there, where, everywhere. All these are space concepts. Now, then, all these are what concepts? Time concepts. So it says all your concepts, whether it is of space or of time, Bhagavan pervades all of that. Okay? Okay, how does he pervade? See, the most interesting and the funny part is God is everywhere and I see him nowhere. Do you see him anywhere? Bolo. दिखता है तो बता दो मेरे को. दिखता है? God is everywhere, so I should be able to see him at least somewhere. But the interesting thing is, I don't see him anywhere. If he is everywhere, why can't I see him at least somewhere? Why? Jagadavyakta murtina. Because I pervade the entire universe in my unmanifest form. It's not a manifest something like that, like a Krishna. And many times pictures, they draw Krishna in the heart of everyone. Have you seen? Small little Krishna standing with a flute. Yeah, poor Bhagwan, how will he have to? So if it's an ant, he'll have to become minute. And it's an elephant, Bhagwan can at least little bit expand. Is it like that? Nah, please. He's unmanifest, he's everywhere. You can't see him, yet he is everywhere. Like space, you can't see, you can't touch space, you can't smell space, you can't feel space, you can't smell space. When you have any smell, it's not of space, okay? Space has no smell, no touch. I can't hold space, can I? I may enclose space, but do you really enclose space? Really not. Do you agree with me? All enclosures are in space. Can I divide space? Bolo. It is indivisible, undivided. You can do what you want to do. You can fight and go to law and all. This is my space, you can say. And people know, kids nowadays say, give me my space. What space? Yours? It's not mine, it's not yours, it's no one's. You can't own space. However much you expand, space accommodates. Is it true or not? It's just there's most beautiful element. So Bhagwan says, I tatamidam sarvam jagadavyaktamurtina. I pervade everything in this whole world. Matsthani sarvabhutani. Everything is in me. But nacha aham teshu. I am not in them. Everything is in me, but I am not in them. Okay, let's now think of the ocean. There are so many waves in the ocean, right? What is ocean? What is it made up of? Water, right? H2O. So H2O can say, what? Maya, by me. What? Tatamidam sarvam. I pervade the entire ocean. How do you pervade? As a wave? No. Not in a particular form. As H2O, I pervade this. Isn't it? So when you are seeing, it happened, one girl who was staying in Vadodara, which is away from the sea, it's not on the sea coast, went to Bombay, which is on the sea coast. And she was told, you will go, and when you go to Bombay, you will see the ocean and the sea and all that. So she was very excited, and she didn't have any concept of what ocean was. So when they told her, go to the balcony and you'll be able to see. And she was so excited, she went to the balcony and she saw nothing. She came back and says, I don't see anything. Are you can see the whole ocean over there? He says, no, it's only water. So she had this vision of the truth. She could see the truth. It's you and I see waves and all those forms, but actually it is what? Nothing but water. Maya, I can... Matsthani sarvabhutani. All are in me, but I am not in them. For example, a child went to, Sunday school, or, they have mass. So she went there, and then they were singing hymns. So everyone was singing the hymns, and this child, she also, everyone is singing, so even I'll sing. So she started. She didn't know the words, so she started saying, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. And everyone is, what are you doing? And when she finished, she would again start A, B, C, D. So what are you doing? He's saying, I am singing hymns. He says, this is not hymns. He's saying, yes. What do you think your hymns are made up of? What are they made up of? All this only. So in these alphabets, all words are there. Is it true or not? Matsthani sarvaputani. Nacha aham teshu. But I am not one particular form, one particular this. All are in me, but I am not in that. Means I am not a finite entity in some big thing, We think, Bhagwan is like this, he is in me, inside, locked up, poor Bhagwan. Miserable Bhagwan. Isn't it true? And they think he's in my heart. And if I get a heart transplant, bolo, poor Bhagwan. It's not that he's in me like some fitted something and locked up and all. No. I'm not in them like that. They are all in me, but I am not in them. The infinite cannot be enclosed in a finite entity. Everything is in me. And Bhagwan says, really, nacha matsthani, they are also not in me. Now, what is this funny thing? This is not understood. The only example that we can give for such thing is the rope and the snake. See, this is a very famous example. Have you heard of this one? Vedanta lectures never are complete without this example. There is a rope, and some person sees a snake over there instead of a rope. It's dark, or maybe so the person sees. And the person is already scared, so he tends to see a snake. So when he sees the snake, he says, oh, he's scared, and the snake is there. And someone tells him, hey, 1 minute, there's no snake, it's only a rope. He says, no, but I'm seeing a snake. Now, please tell me, the rope, can he not chant the shloka and say, Maya tatamidam sarvam, I pervade this entire snake and all the what? Different movements of the snake. How? As a rope. Yes or no? The rope can say that I pervade the snake vision as what? As a rope. The snake is in me, but I am not in the snake. Right? Bolo. The snake, the vision of the snake is in me, but I am not in a snake. Actually, speaking, there is no snake in the rope at all. It is only an appearance. It is not an actuality. Have you all understood that? This is the very basis of Vedanta, which says that this whole world, the truth, the substratum, God, Atma, Paramatma, Ishvara, Allah, whatever name you give it, doesn't matter. That Parabrahma, Paramatma is the very substratum on which this entire world of names and forms appears. It is only a what? What? An appearance. All these names and forms are there. They are only an appearance. You all watch TV? Bolo na, I'm not going to say don't watch, so don't get scared. You can watch, that's your... Now when you switch off the TV, what happens? At the end, there's one dot that remains. Have you seen that? For those of you who are aware, you all know that this dot, that electronic dot as it's called, it goes up and down on the screen and like that. And that is what forms that lighted screen with all the names and forms and everything. Is it true or not? It goes at a terrific speed like that and like that. And that is what forms the entire image. And then you have Amitabh Bachchan, and then you have Shah Rukh Khan and Aishwarya Rai and dancing away and all this thing. And you say, beautiful. What is all this Shah Rukh Khan? Nothing but an electronic dot in motion. Right or wrong? Bolo. Nothing but electronic dot in motion. But when we are watching the play or the movie, are we saying, what a beautiful dot. What a way it is dancing. Nah, for us it is only Shah Rukh Khan, it is Aishwarya Rai. Isn't it true? For us it's not, we are not completely, we don't see. Even though we are seeing the electronic dot, we are not seeing the electronic dot. Right or wrong? Yes? We are only seeing names and forms and qualities. We just cannot see the underlying principle behind it because our mind is so engrossed in that names and forms, the substratum of the names and forms is completely, totally forgotten. Have you all understood that? That substratum is this Atma, Paramatma, whatever you want to call. Maya tatamidam sarvam. Bhagavan says, I pervade the entire, I am the substratum of the entire universe. Everything is in me and I am not in them. Actually, nothing is in me, I remain. The screen says that whenever you want to show Amitabh Bachchan movie or you want to show a Amir Khan movie or whatever Khan movie, I am nothing. The screen remains pure, untainted. Whatever, whether there is violence in the movie, there can be anything. The screen remains untainted and unaffected. Is it true or not? There was a movie called Aag Hi Aag. Aag, fire. What happened to the screen at the end of it? Bolo. Nothing. It remained. You can show Aag, you can show anything. You get the point? This Paramatma is on. Therefore it is universal. God is universal truth. It is not my type of God or my concept of God. No. He is beyond all concepts. You put God in a concept, that's why they say to define God is to defile God. You put him into a narrow field of your thinking and a thought. This Bhagavan says, I pervade and I go much beyond all your imaginations and thoughts. And the very substratum of all these. Swami ji, ye bahut ho gaya. Koi example dena na? Example. Bhagavan Krishna khud example dete hain. And he says, Yatha kashasthito nityam Vayus sarvatra gomahan Tatha sarvani bhutani Matsthani tyupadharaya. Yatha, just as Akasha Sthitaha. In space, Vayu, the air element. Sthita. The air element is in space. Is it true or not? Space is more pervasive than air. Agreed? What happens? The air moves here and there and blows, and there's a thunderstorm and there's lightning and everything happens. What happens to the space at the end of it? Even when the thunderstorm is happening, what happens to space? The space doesn't get wet, it doesn't get blown off, nothing happens to it, right? It just remains like that, unaffected, totally in its own pure state. Tatha, in the same way. Bhagavan says over here, this self, Atma, Paramatma, that is you and I, the pure individual self. It says, Sarvani Bhutani, everything, Matsthani, it remains in me, Upadharaya, and I support it. Remaining unaffected by anything, I support it. Okay. Now comes some very interesting shlokas of how creation happens, how dissolution happens, etc. Now, very interesting verses. Let us see. The 7th and the 8th verse we'll read. Sarva bhutani kaunteya prakrutim yanti mamikam Kalpakshaye punastani Kalpadav visrujamyaham Prakrutim swamavashtabhya Visrujami punah punah Bhutagramamimam kritsnam Avasham prakrutirvashat. Very beautiful it is said. Sarva Bhutani, he says, what is creation? Beautiful definition is given is that creation is from an unmanifest state to come into manifest state, that is called creation. What is creation? You all know the third law of Newton. What? In a chemical reaction, law of conservation of matter and energy. What is that? In a chemical reaction, matter is neither what? Created nor destroyed, but it only changes from one form to the other. That's what it is, isn't it? Whether it's first, second or third, I'm not sure. Third only? Good. And you can tell me then afterwards. I think it's the third law. So, everything, the matter. Now, what is happening is it's only changing. Now, what form is it changing? It's not changing from from the unmanifest to the manifest. That is called creation. And then what is dissolution? From the manifest to the unmanifest. You don't have to go far. You see your own sleep. You go off to sleep, right? You know, the father, a very busy man. He's traveling all over, he gets up, he's late all the time. And he's got a small little baby whom the mother claims to be a total, what do you call it? A devil. Mischievous, very, and she keeps saying he did this and she did this. And the man is so busy, So when he comes in the morning, he comes late night, the baby is fast asleep. And then by the time the baby has got ready and gone to school, nursery school or whatever, the man has not yet got up. So he hardly sees his child. He only sees his child sleeping. And when he sees that sleeping child, it's like an angel, only wings not there. So innocent and a pretty beautiful little piece of a pure innocence. And he says, you are saying devil, devil, what? This is the Bhagwan. And she says, one Sunday when he is saying, I am going to my mummy's place and you take care of this devil. He says, what, my baby? Okay, go. Baby is sleeping. And some babies, no, they get up, na. The minute they get up, they are all active. And then some of them half an hour like that. Have you seen? Some babies, they get up and they're bright-eyed, absolutely. And the mother, na, is very smart. Mothers are anyway smarter. So, the child only has to look over there. And the mommy says, don't touch that. Immediately, don't. Now, father is untrained, he doesn't know anything. So the baby gets, oh my baby. And this fellow sees, today is going to be great fun. Because where mommy is not there, only daddy. Daddy. And he jumps there and does that. And by 1 hour's time, the daddy is frantically calling up the mommy. Tu kyare ave છે પાછી? Where are you? Tu આવી છે પાછી? What do you do with this guy? He is not drinking his milk. He's saying that's your problem. Now you go ahead. You deal with this guy. Now, where was all that mischief when he was sleeping? Bolo. In an unmanifest condition. Is it true or not? It's not it was destroyed. It is there in an unmanifest condition. And then when he wakes up, can you see the mischief? No. In the deep sleep of any person, your deep sleep or my deep sleep, anyone, it's just the same, unmanifest condition. There is no difference between a saint and a sinner in that deep sleep state. Is it true or not? Whatever is there is in the seed form, dormant form, unmanifest form. Nothing is there. And then what happens? That same unmanifest potential that was there, it manifests and it becomes gross and the subtle world that we are experiencing. Have you understood that? The mental world, which is the subtle world, and this gross physical world that you and I are experiencing. So what happens? What is manifestation? From the unmanifest to the subtle to the gross is called creation. And what is dissolution? From the gross to the subtle to the unmanifest is called dissolution. Have you all understood this? Bolo. Every day it is happening. Forget about at one time in this. No. Similarly, the whole world, you may say big bang or what small bang, doesn't matter. You call it what you want. This is what actually happens from the unmanifest to the before the big bang. What was there? Where was it? Unmanifest. Is it true or not? They'll have to say it. You can't. There was potential, and from that potential, the whole thing manifested. Whether it went with a bang or with a flop, what does it matter? But it was there. Are you with me so far? Is it too heavy? So now it is said, Sarva Bhutani, all beings, Prakritim Yanti, they go back into their unmanifest condition, Mamikam, and rest in me, the pure self. And then kalpakshaye, when the time comes again, punaha tani kalpadav. Then at the end of a kalpa, they come into unmanifest condition. And then again they manifest. Punaha visrujami, I create, and it becomes this manifest world. Now, there are 4 types of dissolutions. What? Vedanta talks of 4 types of dissolution. What are the 4 types of dissolution? One is called nitya pralaya. Nitya means moment to moment there is death and dissolution happening. Is it true or not? There are so many cells which are dying. Right now as you and I talk, there is so much moment to moment destruction and dissolution happening. Do you agree with me? Yes? It's not that at one point of time only everything happens. Right now also everything is changing and dying, getting born. So that is called Nitya Pralaya. Okay? Moment to moment dissolution. Nitya Pralaya. The second is called Naimittik Pralaya. Naimittik Pralaya is like midterm pole. Dissolution, no, sometimes they have an emergency and they dissolve the assembly. Has it ever happened over here? Yeah? In all of a sudden in between some political turmoil and all, and they say, what? Dissolve the... And then again re-elections will happen, etc., etc. So similarly, when Brahmaji's 100 years are over, then it is Mahapralaya, but in between, when he goes to sleep, his 1 day and our 1 day are completely different, by the way. Swamiji, how all these things are possible? Arey Baba, it is not difficult. An ant's day and your day, do you think is the same? Bolo na. Bolo. The concept of ant, 1 year or whatever you want to call it, do you think it's the same as yours and mine? What will the ant think? As far as the ant is concerned, we live forever, right or wrong? An ant which may be living for a few, maximum I think for a week or a day or two, for him, you and I, that ant will say, I have seen generations and generations and generations of the same human being. Is it true or not? In our history, from time immemorial, this Swamini Vimalananda has been in existence, right? For the ant, you live forever. Therefore, Brahmaji also. For us, Brahmaji's lifespan is completely a different one. So when his night comes, there is something called a, what? Naimittik pralaya, in between pralaya. Then when Brahmaji's term completely ends, 100 years of his term ends, this is called Mahapralaya, the great. I don't want to use the word deluge because then you will think it happens like that. There are many ways in which it's described. In our scriptures, one of the ways that water, how in the Western world, one form of dissolution is what? Through a great deluge. So it can happen in any way. It can happen in different ways also. So there is the great dissolution, Mahapralaya it is called. And then the whole creation comes back. And then there is one which we should be concerned about, and that is called Atyantik Pralaya, where you say, let this creation and destruction, the cycle continue forever, but I want it to end for me. As an individual, I want to end the cycle of birth and death, and you know the truth. And the minute you realize the truth, for you, this cycle of birth and death ends, and that is called Atyantik Pralaya, or realization, or moksha, or nirvana, or self-realization. You can call it what you want. Have you all understood that? Nitya Pralaya, Naimittik Pralaya, Mahapralaya, and Atyantik Pralaya. Oh, we never thought like that. Bhagavan says, Prakritim Swamavashtabhya. How do I do this? How do I go about creating this entire world? Visrijami. Puna, again and again. So therefore, this is not the first creation, and remember, this is not going to be the last creation also. Have you all understood that? Swamiji, the world, there are people who love these theories, no? In a few years' time, the whole world is going to be destroyed. Have you heard of such people? They all panic, and then they say, we will all die, all of us. So why are you worried? You'll come back again. Punaha, you will all come back again. Not in the same form, not in the same this, but we will all come back again. If we have not realized, you and I shall. Therefore, never, when you are parting from people also, never feel bad about it. Because if you have to meet, you shall meet. And if you don't have to meet, what? You may not. It's like the wave and the oceans. So the waves come and they meet for a little time and then they go away. Right? And then, if they have to meet somewhere else, again these two waves will come. Is it true or not? If they don't have to meet, they do go away in their own little. Are you with me? So, punaha, this whole creation comes about. And remember, this our world, all of you know, you've heard enough about science, and they've seen enough Milky Ways. Our Milky Way is not the only Milky Way, isn't it true? So you can say, in the language of modern science, one Milky Way is one Brahmanda of ours, okay? In the Hindu scriptures, it's called what? One Brahmanda. The Milky Way is one Brahmanda. How many Milky Ways are there? Bolo. Innumerable. How many Brahmandas are there? Therefore, you must have heard Ananta Koti Brahmanda. This phrase. Have you heard this phrase or not? Infinite. Crore creations. That's what are there. This is not the only one. And if you can think in that scale, then you think in one Milky Way there are billions of stars. In that billions of stars there is one sun, and our sun. And in that sun there is a planet called what? Earth. And in that big, huge planet, there is one Africa. And in that Africa, there's one Kenya. And then there's a one Nairobi. And there's a Nairobi, there's a one small little individual. And that is what? What is the space I occupy in this whole universe? Dot of nothing. Is it true or not? Is it? Little. And I. That's all our mind is occupied with. Is it true or not? And you are saying, you are not this dot of nothing. You are that infinite truth which supports the entire universe. That's why I said this knowledge is amazing. Have you understood that? Yes or no? Others tell you are born of sin. We say you are not born of sin. You are infinite. Amritasya putraha. You are the child of immortality. Are you understanding that? You are not born of sin. You are the infinite truth in which all births happen. All billions of living beings are born. You are the substratum of that. You are not this finite little being. This is called liberation. This is called moksha. You, whatever name you want to give it. Now, having understood this is Bhagavan says, he's describing his own nature. When he's talking about his own nature, he's actually talking about our own nature. Will you remember this thing? His nature and our nature are not different. So he says, na cha mam tani karmani nibadhnanti dhananjaya udasinavadasinam asaktam teshu karmasu maya dhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam hetuna nena kaunteya jagad viparivartate. Very beautifully. Bhagavan says, I, that infinite truth, which is the substratum from which the whole creation comes into existence, in which the creation lives and survives and sustains, and into which the entire creation merges back, na karmani nibadnanti, no action binds me. How can infinity be bound by anything finite? Action by its very nature is finite. Is it true or not? Yes? All actions are finite? Yes? They start at a period of time, they end at a period of time. They are performed with limited instruments, and so an action is finite. I cannot be bound by anything finite. And I remain what? Udasinavat asinam. Asinam means I am seated. Bhagavan, where are you seated? Ud asinam. Ud means, I tell you, all of you must learn the Sanskrit language. Oh. The meaning of the word just comes out like that. It's such a beautiful, unbelievable language. Asina, asan. Asan is a word every language has. All the Indian languages. Yes. Asana means what? Sit. See, seat, na? That's it. So Bhagavan sits. Where? Asana. Bhagavan, what is your asana? Udasan. Ud means above. Asina means seated. He is seated above. You and I are seated how? Under circumstances. We are burdened by circumstances, our own actions, bound by them. Bhagavan says, I am above all bondage of any action. I said, Udasinavat. And the Gujarati, the word Udasin has a different meaning. Udasi means depressed. So Udasin. Bhagavan is what? Udasi. Are bichara. Su thai gayo. No. Udasina means above all asina. Untainted and unaffected, always pure does Bhagavan remain. He never gets tainted by anything that happens. He remains pure. Bhagavan 500,000 years back and Bhagavan 500,000 years later is going to remain the same. The world will change, people will change, their swabhavas will change, lifestyles will change, everything will change, but space will remain the same. Agreed? Bolo. Bhagavan is like space, untainted by anything. Udasinavat asinam, asaktam teshu karmasu. So no action binds me. This you and I must understand. The Atma, the self in me, does not get bound by anything. It is the mind that is bound. It is the body that suffers, but not the self. Is that understood? You may not understand. I'll give you examples. Have you heard of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi? Very great saint. He had cancer in the throat or somewhere. No, in some hand or leg or something. And when they detected it, they told him that, Bhagwan, we have to get it removed. He says, why? It's in one corner, leave it. No, it will spread. So what does it matter if it spreads? No, it will cause a lot of pain and death and all. We don't want you to suffer. So they insisted. He didn't want it removed at all, but they insisted. So, okay, fine. This is remove it. They did not even he refused to take anesthesia. He says, you cut it, whatever. What does it matter? He's saying, if something is happening in one corner of the room, what does it matter to me? Let it happen. Similarly, something happened in one corner of the body, you can do it. Now, you and I can't even dream of this. Isn't true or not? One little toothache and the attention keeps, isn't it? One something somewhere, and then the mind is there all the time. So therefore, here Udasinavat. I remember Puja Gurudev, someone asked him, how are you feeling? He had blood pressure and diabetes, not blood pressure, but diabetes. So someone asked him, Swamiji, how is your health? So he says, I have always been fine. So he says, no, Swamiji, how is your health? Means, how is your body? He's saying, if you want to talk of the body, ask the body. Why are you asking me? So what are you asking me for? That's the body is in problem. I have no problems. You see how detached they are. For them, those things don't affect them. Nachamam karmani nibadnanti dhananjaya udasinavat asina. This is the difference between the jiva, individual you and I, and the Paramatma, the infinite Paramatma. Have you understood the difference? This is it. You and I feel bound, and Paramatma is what? Free and complete. And Bhagavan says, Maya adhyakshena. How do you create? Maya adhyakshena. In my presence, visrijami prakritim. I take hold of prakriti, my potential power, which is called Maya Shakti or Prakriti, and I create this entire world. Now, make it more simple. Supposing you are an artist or a poet. Now, you have this potential to write poetry. Is it true or not? You have it. How many poems are available in you potentially? Come on. You are a poet. Potentially, how many poetries are available in you? Have you got this point? Now, how many can I write? I can write 100, 200, 500. Someone like Veda Vyasa wrote millions and millions of shlokas. Is it true or not? Mahabharata, 1 lakh shloka. Puranas, one is 36,000, one is 18,000. For him, it never was. You and I write one little 2 lines of poetry and we make a national issue of it. And for him, Puranas, 18 Puranas, and all Puranas, some Purana has 18,000 shlokas, some has 36,000. Just thousands and thousands. The largest epic in the whole world, the Mahabharata, 1 lakh shlokas. Can you imagine that? And for him, it was just like that. So there are some poets who write from their potential only create what? 1 or 2 poetries. Some can create. But this potential is always there. So what do? I decide one day thoughts come. Let me write a poem. And then what I do, I take up a pen and paper, and then some thoughts start coming, and I watch a beautiful sunrise, and that triggers my imagination. Something within me responds to that outside, and then something comes out of beautiful. Now, it may not be anything to do. I'm not going to write on the sun, but that was only a trigger, and what happened? The most beautiful poetry, maybe about war, came out. You understand that? It could be about anything. Similarly, Paramatma, the truth, which is all alone and all pervasive, and that truth, his potential power of creation, which is called Maya or Prakriti. Have you heard this word Maya? And Prakriti doesn't mean nature as such. Prakriti means that unmanifest potential. This Maya or Prakriti, what did he do? Adhyakshena. He wielded it, and there came out this beautiful creation. Bhagavan said, I didn't even have to do much. In my presence, it happened. All great masterpieces in this whole world are always created when the I is not there. Agreed? The ego is not there. Whenever they create, they say, it just happened. I don't know how, but it just happened. It came out of me. I don't even know how it came out, but it just came out so beautifully. Is it true or not? Bhagavan also was there, and in his presence, the whole creation happened. Maya Adhyakshena. Very beautiful example is given. Supposing the prime, I don't know how it happens here, but in India, supposing the president or the prime minister is going to come to one particular town, then the whole town gets absolutely scrubbed and cleaned and new roads are laid. And is it true or not? Does it happen over here? And then very nice, beautiful. Why? Because the president doesn't send an order, that please see that all the roads are. No. He is very presence. He comes. Bill Clinton came to Jaipur. Oh, whole thing. Then they were very happy about Bill Clinton coming. They said, please come every year. So that they are not interested in Bill Clinton. They are interested in the roads getting. Not bad. So he doesn't order it, but in his presence things happen. A royal person, in the presence, the king enters, and in the court dancers start dancing and this and that. The whole program starts and everyone starts doing. And the king walks off. And once the king walks off, the other people were only there to please the king, not the... So they also... Everyone, have you understood that? Similarly, in the presence of the self, the whole world gets created. Why? By the Prakriti. Hetuna anena kaunteya jagad viparivartate. This whole world starts, the cycle of creation starts through him. Okay, I have understood that. Now, Bhagavan says, some people understand, realize who I am. See, it's a very strange thing. Unfortunately, there is more misunderstanding about our dharma than understanding. Forget about in others, even in the Hindus themselves. Do you agree with me? Yes, ma'am. I'm going to ask you a few questions and we shall answer them tomorrow. You can think about it, you can ask others about it, or you can discuss. Is God formless or with form? Can God have a form? Do Hindus believe in idol worship? Do Hindus believe in many gods or one God? These are very, very fundamental, basic questions. Do you agree with me that these are fundamental questions which every Hindu should know? Yes? Even if I ask now, I'm not asking, otherwise I'll get different answers. Do we believe in one God or many God? See, I got two different answers. Right now, I proved to you. If I have to ask a group of Muslims or Christians, I'd never get two different answers. I'll only get one answer. And here, I knew. So, these are things. And Bhagavan says, the very next look, he says, Avajananti mam muraha. Most people don't even understand who I am. They don't even know who I am. I don't believe in God. You don't even know who is God. What is your question of believe or not believe? I don't believe in Einstein's theory of relativity. Someone told me that. And another young boy who was sitting there, he says, Swamiji, what is he talking? That he doesn't believe in Einstein's theory. Does he know anything about Einstein's theory of relativity? If he doesn't know, he has no right to talk. Agreed? Yes? I don't know and I don't want to know and I don't believe. Then what are you called? You understand this? This is exactly. I don't believe in Gita. I don't believe in God. What do you know of God? I don't know and I don't believe. A foolish statement. You agree that? Have you read the Gita? No. but I don't believe in it. If you don't, you haven't read it, what do you know about it? How can you say, I like it, I don't like it, I believe, I don't believe? What? No, I heard. From whom? My neighbor. What is your neighbor? He's 10-year-old. Wonderful. And look at our source of knowledge. We don't know anything about it. Isn't it? So please, tomorrow we will see. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.